Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube friends. Chapter 24 for Reincarnation Coliseum has dropped, and it picks up where we left off with Mikagami imitating Head Priestess 8 in front of all in attendance. Now, this gets some laughs from the crowd, but it confuses Chris more than anything. She wonders why he would do this before telling herself to stay focused and not let her guard down since he appears to be not done yet. Mikagami goes on to tell the crowd that it's time for the next act as the crowd gets riled up. His entertaining ways are being eaten up like a buffet as the announcer begins the next 30-second countdown. Mikagami begins changing with everyone waiting with anticipation on what will happen next. Mikagami grabs a sphere and cloaks himself with his cape. The 30 seconds is up and he emerges, this time imitating Alexandro's burn. This stuns the announcer, but Zulu, Mary, and even Desmos can't hold back their laughter from what he just pulled off. Seeing that he's being mocked, Alexandros gets irritated and loses focus. His sluggish punch is readable enough for Maul to connect a blow, which shocks him. That's not all. The tide of battle is changing as he feels discomfort as things continue. Chris looks on at Mikagami as he continues hyping himself up from the act. Mikagami never expected his imitations to be so popular in this world since there are no TVs and comedy is rare. As he looks back at Chris, he notices her expressions. It's not an expression of fear, but one of curiosity. Mikagami grins after realizing things are coming together to make her laugh before we get a flashback of his group at Zulu's hideout. They're taking a break, but he asks Mary how long it takes before a person wouldn't be able to use their skills anymore. He mentions that Zulu brought it up before their tag team fight, but didn't have time to make a contingency plan, so he ignored it. There must be a limit to how long a person can use their skill, he says, since using direct attacks against someone like Maul would be difficult. Mary informs him that while in battle, the limit is 5 hours. He's at a loss for words, but gets gagged by the thought while outside of battle, it could be approximately 16 hours. Taking that into account, he wonders that a person must get tired and sleepy if used like that, to which Mary agrees with. Then Zulu chimes in, stating it's because it's a skill. This jogs his brain a bit because in a fantasy setting, he knows there's normally a gauge to how much MP can be consumed, but this makes the law of energy consumption pointless. Zulu makes a point that when you're asleep, that's a rare time of when you're not using your skills. It would be the same as if a person was to die in front of you or pain from having an arm cut off. The concentration would no longer be there on your skill, but on something else, which Mikagami finally understood. Point being, Mikagami is looking for ways to interrupt a skill or make it fail, mainly someone of Maul's caliber. Back in the Coliseum with the crowd chanting his name, the panel shifts to Chris. Mikagami is certain that she's not a warrior for this Coliseum, just a strange and curious woman using the skill she's acquired. He believes her fear is the factor to activate the skill. However, if someone was able to change that emotion and feeling behind that activation, it's possible the skill could deactivate or even weaken. Based on what he knows, he's ready to test that hypothesis. Mikagami informs the audience that he's ready to go for Act 3 as the crowd goes on to chant his name once more. He decides to pick up the 2 tubes he brought with him and use the Alexandros burn imitation again. The audience recognizes that and chuckles as Mikagami mocks Alexandros. The crowd continues to play along with Mikagami telling them that he has to take a leak. Opening up a tube, he uses the gust of wind skill to spray the contents in the air to make a dirty joke. This literally sends the crowd into a frenzy of laughter, irritating Alexandros once again as Mikagami goes on to question why his pee came out green. Alexandros lets his killing intent seep out, which interferes with his focus on Maul and allowing her to counter him. Maul can't believe how she's faring now against him compared to before. It's exciting enough to keep her mind on him, leaving her tag partner to do his job. Mikagami, on the other hand, continues with his dirty joke, while the nobles and Desmos look on amused by his act. Desmos mentions that Mikagami's tactics are interesting because she realizes that he's trying to crush Chris by making her laugh. Not only that, his performance is enough to stop him from focusing on Alexandros altogether, while the crowd focuses on the general because of the imitating. Desmos understands that letting Mikagami be was a mistake on his part. If things continue unchecked, he may turn the entire Coliseum into his theater playground. Mikagami goes for one more joke at Alexandros' expense, but this time he pees in the spiral motion with red and green colors. Alexandros is beyond pissed and Marl notices that the healing skill has weakened on him. As the panels shift to Chris, she starts showing a different expression. Mikagami pushes his limit one final time and it succeeds. Chris's barrier shatters and she breaks out in laughter, with the crowd taken aback by the outburst. Even Alexandros notices this and realizes Mikagami's plan has succeeded. The plan wouldn't have worked if Chris never gave in, but Mikagami realized they are the same in a way. He makes a charge toward her using the skill buff, and before she could put up the barrier again, he breaks through to grab her. This causes her to have a meltdown with a surprised Alexandros looking on. Marl steps up to inform the general that his perfect plan has now failed. However, Alexandros believes that even if Chris dies, the copy skill will do no good in their battle. Reason being that Mikagami showed all the items he was hiding in his bag and none of them will work on him. Now that he's seen it all, they are more at a disadvantage than he is as he begins charging up, insulting Marl while telling her he has finally become calm. From this point on, it will be a fight with no healing skills, he says. As the panels now shift back to Mikagami, Chris is pleading her case to not be killed, but he assures her that he won't do it since killing her means no more healing skills. Instead, he tells her politely to stop using the healing skill on Alexandros before grabbing Chris from behind and tickling her all over. So this closes out chapter 24, and what a joy it is to see Chris being broken before she hits the bedroom. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Chris is gonna be one he picks if they win, because there's really no point of saying Alexandros being gender bent, anything like that anymore, because Alexandros is the same as Marl, and if Marl beats Alexandros, it's pointless to have two people with the skill buffs. It just wouldn't make any sense. While the team doesn't have a healer or a barrier skill user, so Chris would definitely be the one, and she's gonna experience new things just like Suzu experienced new things. Remember, Chris is a nun. Most likely she's a virgin. Like, there's no other way to like go around that. Slaving to Zayd, yeah, definitely. And speaking of like, you know, Zayd and Chris and all that stuff, Chris is like the thick of the thick. I don't even know how the hell Zunta even came up with like this body type. And he's had all kinds of body types with him. We have Zulu, we have Marl, we have Mary, we have Zayd, we have Desmos, we have Alice, Fine. Like, this body type right here is spilling all over the place, top and bottom. It's crazy. But anyway, the fight definitely is not going past chapter 25. So next month is probably going to be the last of this fight. I don't see it going beyond that point unless we get like transformations. We would have to get transformations of some sort for this to be extended. I just don't see it going past that. Like, we're towards the end game for this tag team battle. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, as well as recommendations that I can also check out, and I may do a video on those. Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share amongst your friends and all that stuff. Follow me on social media. I tend to talk about all kinds of stuff on there as well. And until next time, keep on grinding, my YouTube fam. I'm out of here.